Good morning. I have so many baby bunnies. I have been, oh, yeah, it's like swimming. And I'm going to call it Hell Week, but it hasn't been hell. It's been hellacious fun. Oh my gosh, so much fun. I think, there's times in your life that you're just overwhelmed and you got too many irons in the pot. And it's like, why did I volunteer to do that? Oh, and then why did I do this? Oh my gosh. I've been doing that a lot. But I have no regrets. None whatsoever. I'm just going to try to do my very best every day. So here we go. It's Wednesday morning. And my plan was to have all the baby bunnies in here again, but it's not going to happen right now. It's going to happen later this afternoon. Too many things came up this morning, and knowing how much of a challenge it was last week when I was trying to put them in the little boxes. I'd put 2 in and 3 would hop out, and we kept doing that. And the more I rushed, the more they hopped. I wasn't into that. I'm not going to do another replay. I am going to put them in little travel carriers so they won't be in the shoe boxes. And I've got a few things later this morning and early this afternoon. And so I'm thinking this afternoon sometime, I'm going to sneak in an hour and we're going to do a real quick, I'll do a live. What the hell? I'm just going to do it. Okay. I'm going to put it out there. I'll put a notice when I have a time scheduled. As soon as I know it, you'll know it. And we'll do the baby bunnies this afternoon. But right now, one of the many things that I've got going is my deck of cards. Oh my gosh, they're fabulous. I sent in the file yesterday or the day before. It's all a blur. Monday I did. This is Wednesday, Tammy. And I just got back the electronic proof files. And even though I painstakingly used their template, and they have a bleed line and a no-go line and whatnot, I worked really hard to get them meticulously exact. One of my little lines that I have on all of the cards is right on that no-go line. So I'm going to take a deep breath and probably go back and fix that on all 54 cards. Because I've waited this long. I put this much energy into it. I might as well give it my best, right? So I'm just going to do it. It'll take a little bit, but it'll be worthwhile. So I got that going on. I just sent off a bunch of wool to Maine to make into more yarn. That was like a huge weight. My husband's getting ready to go fishing with his buddy, so he's going to be out of here for a few days so I can actually get something done. Not that I don't. He supports me. One of the things I wanted to do today was iron my tie-dyes. Look at these. Oh my gosh, aren't they just adorable? They've been sitting in tubs and I've been wanting to get to them all week and I haven't. And now that I have the room and I've reorganized, you know what? I cannot find my iron. I have a brand new iron just for my t-shirts. And I don't iron very much. Who irons? I don't. And it should have been where I left it, but apparently I left it somewhere where I can't find it. So I may not do any ironing today, but soon, because I want to put them all up on my website. They're just sitting here looking pretty. They might as well sit on somebody else and look pretty. That's my thoughts. And then I'm going over my sizes. I think it's large and extra large. I don't have any, or very few. I think it's the large. But I have a gazillion smalls, mediums, 2X, and 3X. I'm 2X and 3. I got plenty of those. So those in the middle, I've got a whole package of extra large. I need to buy me a package of large, and I'm going to do some more dyeing. That's going to be fun. So that's on my to-do list too. But anyway, I wanted to show you one of my other pet projects. Since I'm not talking baby bunnies today, what I do want to do is get into the history of giant Angoras. Candy Haenszel made or created a very, very good document several years ago. And she gave me permission to post it on my website many, many moons ago. And it was published in 1999. So that's been just a little while. And yeah, I was teasing her shortly after I got my COD finished. It's like, how about doing a revision, Candy? And she goes, I think that's a really good job for you. It's like, oh God. So I finally did it. I made a revision, a continuation to the story. So yeah, that's up on my website too. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. But first of all, I wanted to show you my creation. This is called a woolly booger. I submitted it in one of our, I think it was one of the local, our wool skein and garment contests, because I won a sticker. Yeah, I love it. The comment on here, I got 88 points out of 100. I think that's pretty darn good. Texture is 23. Appropriate end use, 23. Balance, condition, 20. Twist and angle, 20. I mean, for my beautiful hand spun, I thought it was fabulous. So I'm going to make more of this. I call it my woolly booger. So let me take this safety pin off. So I can finagle here. There's another safety pin. I need a jar safety pins. I never can find one when I want one. So this woolly booger yarn, let's see if I can show you here. I have a short video. It shows me spinning it actually. Every foot and a half, I have a tag. And some are longer than others, but they average about 6 inches or so. Yeah. So when you knit it up, I made a cowl years ago out of a brown woolly booger yarn that I made. And it was just gorgeous, and I sold it. I hope somebody is enjoying it. So if you are out there and you have my woolly booger brown cowl, I would love to see it. But I'm going to make me a white one. One comment on here, it says gray bit. And I'm like, what does that mean, gray? G-R-E-W. Well, then I got to looking at it, and now I can't find it. But somewhere in here, I had spun in a little bit of gray wool. It's completely white except for that one spot. So I'm sure that's what they meant. I can't find it now, but it's in here somewhere. I saw it this morning. You know, and that's how much I'm going to worry about it. No, I am going to knit me up a cowl. And when I knit it up, all these little tags, I'm going to purposely put on the outside. Yeah. And then it was, when I spun it up, it was 2 plies. I'm pretty sure 2 plies of Angora. And I love this beautiful spinning technique that I made. And 1 ply of some sort of felting yarn. either I hand spin a single myself with my merino or caramel or something that will felt, or I can buy cheap merino lace weight of some sort and use that as the third ply. But superwash won't work for this. Nope. We want something that will felt. Because what I do, Karen, bless her heart, Karen, I love you. I miss you terribly. She made me a gazillion, not a gazillion, but a lot of these nifty little donut-shaped laundry bags. And after I spin it, I tie it off. You can see my little red ties here. I do the little number 8, go in and out, tie it off. I found a little gray bit. Oh, there's 2 gray bits because that's different than what I found this morning. Oh, there's another one. I don't care. Anyway, you put it in the laundry bag after you spin it all up. Tie it up. And then I throw it in the washing machine. And it doesn't matter if it's cold, hot. But I would warn against putting it in your delicates or something. Yeah, I put it in my barn clothes when I usually have once a week or so a laundry. It's just extra fuzzy, if you know what I mean. And I throw it on top of that and just let it go. And it felts. And it gives it this really unique texture. Because whatever I had in here, I think it was merino. I don't know if you can see the texture on that. It's really cool. You can't see the merino, but the Angora felts at a lower rate than the merino. So the Angora kind of pops to the outside, and it's fuzzy, and it's sturdy. There's a little bit of spring in there, not a whole lot. And it fixes a few things. The one thing that I really do not like about Angora at all is the flyaway. If you're wearing a garment, shawl, scarf, gloves, no matter what it is, and you take it off and you still have that Angora on you, I don't like that at all. This eliminates that almost completely. I don't think there's 100%, but there's no flyaways. If I did this with any other skein, you could see in the little pieces of Angora. This won't have it. And my other stuff that I hand spin and wash, this is one I did of my fawn stuff. This is beautiful. It doesn't have the tags, so it's not a woolly booger, but it was also washed. And see how fuzzy that is? That's stuck. That's not going anywhere. And it is going to be beautiful. No, I would not make a sweater out of this. You could, but I'm not going to. What I am going to do is use it as some sort of accent yarn on hats, cuffs, on gloves, on sweaters, weaving, knitting, crocheting. It doesn't matter what I use it on. And the nice thing about it is it's pre-shrunk. It's pre-felted. So if you, like I have grandkids, if I knit them up some gloves and put this on the border, they're thrilled because they have something fuzzy of grandma's rabbits, right? And if their hand part of the glove is actually some sort, I can even use acrylic, oh God, or superwash, something that they could throw in the wash, right? They won't hurt it. They won't hurt it at all. And it has the best of both worlds. So this is my beautiful spinning method. The hardest part of the whole thing is after you spin it, You put it on your Swift after it's washed, and you're going to ball it up so you can start knitting with it. Well, the strands have felted to each other, so they're really sticky. So to ball it up, it takes some time. So get a cup of coffee, get you a glass of wine, whatever your favorite beverage is, and don't be in a hurry because it's going to take a little while. And just know that up front that it's no speedy thing. But that's the worst part. But once you get it balled up, it's awesome. I learned one valuable lesson when I was first experimenting with this. I not only washed it, but I put one in the dryer. And it was felted as a rock. There was no separating it. So don't do that. The cats love it as it's a very luxurious cat bed right now. So anyway, lessons learned on that one. Just put it in your washer. Yeah. So I'm going to be knitting some stuff up with this, and I'm going to be making more of that. And the nice thing about this beautiful yarn, and it's really a good thing for beginners too, I think, because there's so many of my friends that are wonderful at spinning lace weight or really even yarn, and I can do it. Is it my preferred? No. My preferred is this stuff. I just take a bulk of whatever I have left, not my prime, that goes into our Sinfully soft yarn to be commercially milled. But anything that's too long, too short, little webby, whatever, I don't want to go through the machinery. I hand spin it. And even the short stuff works really good in this, because once it's attached, it's not going anywhere. Would I want to use short stuff in my regular spinning? No, I wouldn't. I mean, I can, and I have done it. The reason I say no is because that's going to be that awful flyaway. It's going to make its way loose and stay on your person after you take your knitted or crocheted garment off. Yeah, and it'll help create more pills. It's just not a good thing. But this is pretty awesome. So beautiful. It's a play on words that I've came up with a dear friend of mine. I was like, what do I call this method? Oh my gosh, this is years ago. I think I'm onto something, ladies. And they said, BeautiFULL, F-U-L-L is capitalized. And in the fiber world, spinning world, fulling means felting. So, yeah. So whenever you see me talk about BeautiFULL, F-U-L-L capitalized, you know what I'm talking about. Now, I blew 19 minutes already. Almost 20 minutes. I'm going to go over some of my notes on the history of giant Angoras. Just a real brief, because all of the details are now up on my website. I have Candy's article, From German to Giant. Candy, she was so detailed. I was personally blown away when I read this. It has everything from the very beginning, all the details, who, where, what, when. And when I first tackled this project, because I wanted to get it up to date, I was intimidated. It's like, it just seemed overwhelming. But I sat down, took me a few weeks, and then to verify the information, I wanted to make sure it's correct. So that took some digging. And you know, the one place that I found that has, whenever I want to look for historical, accurate information, hands down, nope, it's not Wikipedia. Nope, it's not. The one blog that has it all is Betty Chu's blog. So, Betty, I used your blog heavily, and she captures once a week. She has a blog, regardless if it's rabbit shows or not. Might be about her garden or cats or something, but mostly about rabbits and rabbit shows. She's diligent. She's so thorough. And if I have any questions, I might text her and say, hey, do you know blah, blah, blah? It won't take too long. And she'll email me or text me back with the link to the blog that explains it all. And she backfills some of her stories. And it's like, oh, you guys, if these old people, you should cherish them. They are awesome. And people like Betty, she's a gem. So thank you, Betty, for helping me with everything throughout the years. So yeah, that's where I came across, and I filled in all the details from 1999 to today. And I'm calling it The Giant Story Continues. There's a couple of things that I want to point out, that there was a lot of people involved in the giant Angoras throughout the years. Many, many, many teams that tried to get the blacks passed. And the story is filled with heartache and tears and struggles. But the one thing that was evident throughout the entire story is the determination, the cooperation, and the hope that every breeder out there carried when they passed the torch to somebody else. If they started a COD and for whatever reason, there was one instance of one of the rabbits being too light, 2 ounces, 2 bloody ounces too little. And they didn't make it. There was another time that one of the bucks, senior bucks, died just before convention. And if you're a rabbit breeder, those things happen. I don't know why. Could be a variety of reasons. But they, under the best of circumstances, they do that. So can you imagine just losing one buck, and then that changed everything for that year's presentation. And time again, things just happened that were out of people's control, and with best intentions, no matter what, it just didn't happen. So if you are interested in the entire story, I could go through it, but it'd be pretty boring. So I'm not going to do that today. What I am going to tell you is just a few of the highlights that I picked out. Is I thought it was kind of interesting back in 1996, the 1996 to 2000 SOP, Standard of Operating, the ARBA SOP. It noted that all the bucks should be 9.5 pounds and the does should be 10. And it was noted that ARBA, at that time, the Standards Committee wanted 1 pound increase in the giants with the next publication of the standard, which is another 5 years. Well, there was a ballot that went out, and the majority of people voted it down within NARBIC, the National Angora Rabbit Club. And so one of the distinctions, I wanted to make this clear, that NARBIC does not own the information at all that's in the ARBA standards. Let me pull it out, guys. Oh, I have it right here. This is the current one. This is our Bible. This has the specifics on all the rabbits and actually all the cavies too. How much they should weigh, what colors are recognized, the faults, the DQs, what that rabbit should look like from head to toe. It'll have it in here. Each breed. So that's our Bible. We don't own that. NARBIC doesn't own that. ARBA does. Although, what happened? I wasn't there, so I'm just reading the history lessons, right? But enough people in NARBIC, they filled out their ballots. They said, no, we don't want any more weight. ARBA, they were really pushing that weight. And the reason is, I think, again, I wasn't there, they wanted enough difference between giants and the other Angoras that are already part of ARBA, which is primarily the French, Satin, and English. Of course, English, they're little, right? They're the little guys. And then there's that little go-abouts where they had on determining the name of the giant Angoras. And it's interesting that giants are the only 6 class of the Angoras. All the others are only a 4 class. And that is basically when you count in the sex and the age groups. So a 4 class, you have juniors and seniors, and you have a buck and a doe in juniors as 2, and a junior or a senior buck and a doe. So that's 2 more, that's 4. So that's a 4 class. Giants are the only 6 class. You have juniors, buck and doe. Then you have intermediate, buck and doe. And then you have senior, buck and doe. And to maintain that 6 class classification within ARBA, they wanted it to be huge. They wanted it to be much bigger than the other Angoras. That's my assumption on why. But you know what happened? They submitted that ballot, that polling that went on to ARBA for them to take that into consideration, and they didn't change it. So they do listen to us. We do have a voice. It's like everything in this society, right? We may not be the decision makers, but we do have a voice. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. So currently, the weight limit, interesting enough, is still 9.5 for senior bucks. That's the minimum weight. And minimum weight for girls is 10. The juniors, kind of interesting, their minimum weight is 4.75. That is not hard to do. The giants, even my smaller ones, they're. So juniors is up to 6 months of age. And then you have the intermediate age group, right? 6 months to 8 months old. And you know what? In the standard, still today, there is absolutely 0 weight limit. None, nada. And so the other weight requirement doesn't hit until they're a senior. That's 8 months old on up. At 8 months old, they have to be at least 9.5 or 10 pounds for a girl. Otherwise, they may get DQ'd if they hit the show table. And another little side note, if you go to register your Angora, your giant Angora, they have to make the minimum senior weight. You can register an intermediate. I have taken 7-month-olds that are 11, 12 pounds just to get them registered. I happen to be going to a show and they have a full coat. Everything else is looking beautiful and I got the paperwork. So let's just get you registered. They're not done growing yet, but I'll get them done while I'm at the show and the register is there. It's just easier for me. So that's a potential. So you can register intermediates, but they have to make senior weight. Just FYI. And I was just putting out a note to my village elders today, a little tip, because I'm working up all my pedigrees for these juniors and everything. A little trick that I've done is when I'm creating the pedigree, I put 5 pounds on all of my pedigrees. As I go through and do my evals on all the rabbits throughout their entire life when they're here at the Fuzzy Vaughn's farm, I update that weight And then once a week or every 2 weeks, I go in and update it on my computer. So their pedigree, when I do print it, will have the most current weight on it. That's what I do. The only exception to that is if I have a registered rabbit, I note that registered weight on their pedigree, and I don't change it. I have it documented within the system because their weight will fluctuate, but I don't change it on the paperwork. But if you have, like, say I have a 10-pound doe at 7 months and I get her registered. She finished growing at year and a half and she's 12 to 13 pounds. I may consider re-registering her, having it updated. And that costs $2 with ARBA and whatever it costs with your local registrar. And usually they charge $6. But take in your original registration and have them update it for you so you can get that current weight on there. I don't always do that. We live out in the boonies, so it's not always practical. But if I do, I do it. And one of the things, me as a breeder, I would look at the pedigree because notoriously throughout the country, giants have a serious weight problem. And it's not the kind of weight problem that I currently have. I'm a little overweight. I'm a little overly soft, but they are notoriously known for being underweight. So as a breeder, when I look at the pedigree, if I'm considering buying one, I look at the lineage. How much do those rabbits weigh? Are they on the smaller side? I may not want to bring that genetics into my breeding program. It's just one of the many things you consider besides the color and everything else. But with the giants, generally the weight is the one of the top things that we look at. And another tip, the reason I brought it up is why I put 5 pounds when I first create that pedigree. How many times have we gone through and picked up a rabbit that we want to register, or their kids or grandkids, we might want to register it, but somewhere down in that lineage, one of the rabbits do not have a weight. It happens all the time. So at least if I put a 5 pound on there, no matter where it goes, that paperwork, whoever ends up registering that rabbit or their lineage down the, they have a weight, because that is required by ARBA. The registrar, one of the first things they always do before they even look at your rabbit, they'll take a look at that pedigree that you hand them. That's the easiest. Print off an extra pedigree, one that you can send with the registrar. You don't have to keep it at home. They'll look that over and they will check every single rabbit on that pedigree to make sure they have a weight listed. They don't care what it is. It can be 2 pounds. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so just FYI. How I can get sidetracked, huh? So that was kind of interesting that I was looking at the history, the weight limit, and the blacks. It was like over 30 years that they tried to get blacks passed, but for one reason or another, they just didn't get it over the finish line. And that breaks my heart, because I know personally how hard that COD journey is. I've been through it once myself, and now I'm silly enough, my husband and I are doing it again with the Chocolate Agoutis. Crazy, I know. But anyway, the main takeaway from today is I know, and I'm so thankful for all of those breeders throughout all those years that kept the colors going. Because when Louise Walsh made the giants way back when, she used different big giants and not all of them were white. So she brought in colors. They were producing colors way back when, 30 plus years ago. And so they've been out there. But because we've had enough dedicated breeders with enough passion and love and the hope and joy in their hearts, they kept it alive. They passed the torch and they didn't give up. So that helped me when I decided to get on the train. And the only reason I didn't go on the black train versus the chestnut train is I knew that whatever color that I was going to work on as a COD, and I knew I wanted to do one, I truly loved the chestnut color. When I hand spun the yarn, I loved it because it had kind of a heathered look. The black little tips from the chestnuts was just gorgeous. The chocolate agoutis, they were awesome. One of my first French crosses that I had was a chocolate agouti, chocolate num num. One of my first bikinis was made out of his wool. It's beautiful. And I thought, I'm going to do something that I really love. I like the blacks. I mean, they're stunning, right? And no color is going to be any easier or harder than the other. That's not had nothing to do with why I chose chestnuts. It was purely because I loved the chestnut color. And I had a few of them in my barn, and it's like, I want a few more. So once I jumped on that chestnut train, my barn was filled with chestnuts. I've had very few white and a few other colors pop in. And even after all the breeding that we did and all the serious work we did with our COD, I still love my chestnuts. I'm really digging the chocolate agoutis too. I've had a few of them in my barn, and I've never really paid that much attention to them. Really, I may actually showed some by accident. Well, maybe not accident, but they look so close to my chestnuts. I think, I'm just going to throw them out there. Well, I got busted. And it's like, I was told by a couple judges, very, very nice judges, Tammy, you can show them, but you have to enter them as exhibit. If you want to get comments on them, I was like, okay, fine. I'll do it the right way. So doing it the right way also entails taking up the COD. So Corey, he was going to do it. He got started with the paperwork, got it approved, and he was going like gumption. He was breeding like crazy, and something happened, and he couldn't follow through. So it's like, and that happens. We have life outside of rabbits, you guys. It is. We do have a life out there. So after some hem-hawing and whatnot, my husband and I decided. He didn't say no. After the first chestnut, it was a hard no. He could see the wheels churning, I think, and he goes, I know what you're thinking. It's not going to happen. No. And I was so fed up and tired by then. It's like, I had no fight in me. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Well, after I heard about Corey, and then I dove into the new rules, and I read it line by line, and I really had time to absorb it. I tried to explain it to my husband, and he actually, he goes, you already produced chocolate agoutis, and they're really good. And I said, I know. The hard work is already done. The development, that's the hard part. At least it was with my chestnuts. We had some that were really good, but not consistent. So we needed to get them consistently really good. And we did that. But then we're producing. I'm to the point right now, I have designed on my website. I have to tell you this. I am so proud of myself. It was pretty cool on Sinfully Soft. And go in there. You can look at it right now today. Anybody can look at part of it anyway. The real good stuff is for the village elders only. But under the rabbits tab down there, you can see the new classified ads section. And I have it designed so it's 2 parts. The first part is for village elders and myself. So if I want to submit a rabbit, or right now I have like 17, 18, 17 juniors that are ready to rock and roll to new homes. I'm holding the Chocolate Agoutis. They can go to, one of my village elders, but they can't go until after Reno because they're going to show up there first. And then they can go on to new homes. And I have a gazillion chestnuts. And they're really nice. Yeah. I'm like, so I'm going to, I posted them to my village elders first. And the way I designed my website is we have a village elders, I'm calling it the village barn. So I post it there first, it has a price and everything. I'm giving them a 50% discount. First dibs for a whole week. And their week is up tomorrow, Thursday. So if you're a village elder and you're on the fence and you want to look at any of these, you better look now because they're tomorrow. I'm going to move what's not spoken for to the public side. And if you go there today, the public, I have a couple examples. They're test rabbits. I was testing my new process and it's working darn good. So with the click of the button, I can move that rabbit and I don't have to retype all the information. It just automatically goes to the public listing. So anybody can look at that. So the way I have intended this to work is the village elders, they also have a form submission that they can enter rabbits to be viewable for the village elders. And they can let me know if they want that rabbit to be open to the public as well. So right now, that classified ads section and the form is only for village elders. So if you want in on the action, there's a contract. There's things you have to agree to before we let you in as a village elders. It's free. I'm not charging anything for all these things. But there are strings attached. So read the contract thoroughly. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm not asking for your firstborn or anything that's really hard. I don't think it's hard. But I am asking that you work with the other breeders, you be honest, upfront, and work hard on promoting Colored Giant Angoras. That's it in a nutshell. Yeah, that's it. Of course, first on our priority is the Chocolate Agoutis, right? And then the other agoutis are near and dear to my heart too. We have the lynx and the opals. Do anybody have any out there? I know there are. I want to get more made because my first passion, I want all agoutis passed, showable. I want all colors passed and showable with ARBA. Yeah. So if you're on the fence and you have several colors that you want, join in our village elders and let's start talking about it. Let's gather a team and let's get a COD team going. Let's not wait. It's not easy, but it's a lot easier with a team behind you. And that's what we got, the village elders. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, you guys, I'm going to call it a day because I have a lot to do. I'm gonna start knitting something with my beautiful yarn, and but I have to do a lot of other stuff too. Fun stuff. And the iron. I have to find an iron. Lordy. ironing. Whoever thunked it. I'm looking forward to ironing. Isn't it crazy? That is crazy. Anyway, you guys have a most wonderful day. And if you're around, I will hope to go on YouTube again later this afternoon. I'm thinking about 2, 3 o'clock, closer to 3. We're going to do a baby eval. And as soon as I nail that dime down, I'll post a note on my Facebook and let you guys know. But until then, you guys have a great day and have fun out there.